Hey, I'm Nico, and here are 30 useless facts you probably didn't know about Kirby and the Forgotten Land. If you're like me, you might be wondering why it took so long to get a proper 3D Kirby game. Well, as it turns out, HAL Laboratories, the studio behind the Kirby series, was always divided about this question. Heck, some members of the team said that a 3D Kirby game shouldn't even be called a Kirby game. That's pretty intense. Before getting everyone on board, the team had to point out what wouldn't work as great in 3D, such as the enemy swallowing mechanic and how to overcome all of these obstacles. Well, when the game's director, Tatsuka Kamiyama, pitched the game to HAL and Nintendo, he had a solid pitch explaining all of the issues about making a 3D Kirby game and how to fix them all. Once that pitch was done, everybody was on board with the project. Wow, that must have been a solid presentation. One of the first 3D challenges the team had in mind was how Kirby would look when the camera was behind him. As Kirby is a pink round ball, well, which way is he facing? They had to work on the shadows and graphics to fix that issue. There are tons of cool worlds to visit in this game, and each of these worlds have unique names. Well, if you decide to grab the first letter from every single one of these worlds in order, you'll have this: N, E, W, W, O, R, L. And if you grab the second word's first letter from the final world, Lab Discovera, it's going to be a D. This spells out New World. Wow, now this is a neat surprise. So the company that developed the game, HAL Laboratories, has hidden some secret rooms in a couple of levels. These are referred to as HAL rooms, and as you can see, they do contain a bunch of things spelling out HAL. So there's a very specific ways to access all of these rooms, which I won't go into detail here, but just know that it's a really nice Easter egg. When Kirby inhales his enemies, he also swallows their powers and can use them to defeat other enemies. But did you know that if two enemies are placed close to each other, you can actually swallow both of them? What happens when you do that is that you get a random copy ability. Speaking of, Kirby and the Forgotten Land contains 12 copy abilities, which may not seem like a lot compared to other Kirby games, but each of these abilities are upgradable multiple times. In fact, if you want to upgrade them all to the max, you better be ready to replay the Colosseum over and over again. This game is all about rescuing the poor Waddle Dees from these locked cages. And when you approach them, they'll be super happy to see you, which is a really neat detail. The thing is, if they see you and start dancing with joy, and then you just move away and abandon them to their sad and tragic destiny, well, they'll also be extra sad and will give up on life. Oh dang, now I kinda feel bad. When Nintendo played early builds of the game, they wondered why there weren't that many enemies in the game. They felt like the areas were not populated enough, and the response given by the team is that it wouldn't be fair to poor Kirby. As it turns out, everybody in the team truly loves Kirby, and they don't want to torment him with an unfair situation. Kirby has his own explorable house in this game located in Waddle Dee Village, and as you play the game, more and more things will be added to the house, making it look more cozy. There's also a fireplace, which you can light on fire with some copy abilities. As of June 2022, Kirby and the Forgore has sold 4.5 million copies, making it the second best-selling Kirby game of all time. Which one is the best? Well, that would be the very first Kirby game on the Game Boy. One thing you probably didn't notice about Kirby and the Forgotten Land is how different the logo is from previous Kirby games. Just take a look at all these logos from the past. And now take a look at the new one. Yep, Kirby and the Forgotten Land's logo is the first time they changed the traditional Kirby logo since 2002. It's fitting considering how different the game actually was. When you first start the game and play the first level, there won't be any music playing, only birds chirping in the background. Well, if you stay there and you listen to their chirp, you'll notice that they're actually in sync with the music for this game. This is such a cool detail. The Battle of Blizzard Bridge is a boss rush type of stage where enemies you fight get more and more difficult. Well, if you want an extra challenge, you can actually go to the left when you first start the level and navigate through the rubbles to climb up and into that window. Once you're there, you'll be playing against the same bosses, but there's going to be more of them now, making it extra challenging. The Colosseum is home of Meta Knight, Kirby's famous nemesis. Well, what if I told you that you could steal his sword during the fight? Yup, that's the thing. Bring your own sword copy ability, and when Meta Knight dashes into you, swing your sword. This will lead to a cool animation, and if you press B fast enough, Meta Knight will drop his sword and you'll be able to steal it. Haha, sucker. While Kirby and the Forgoer is a mostly single player experience, you can also play this game in local co-op. In that mode, one player will be Kirby and player 2 will be Bandana D. Bandana D cannot use copy abilities, but that doesn't mean he can't fight. He has a spear that he can use to defeat enemies and bosses, which is highly efficient. Oh, by the way, when you collect food to heal yourself in co-op mode, be sure to go give a big hug to your partner, as health bonuses can be shared in between the two players, which is a returning feature from previous Kirby games, but it's still cool to see it being back in this one as well. So the development team implemented what they called fuzzy landing to fix one of the issues they had with making a 3D Kirby game. Basically, it's pretty easy to tell when Kirby is touching the floor after jumping in a 2D game, but in 3D with perspective, camera and everything, it is not that simple. A bunch of testers wanted to jump right after landing and always press the jump button a little bit too early, resulting in Kirby flying instead of jumping. Well, with the new fuzzy landing mechanic, even if Kirby isn't 100% touching the floor yet, the game will automatically make Kirby jump again instead of starting to float. I love how they called it fuzzy landing. There are tons of posts and signs with a language in Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and as it turns out, this is a real language that can be decoded. This sign here reads Directory, and this one says Wish You Were Here. There's even a translator tool available online to encode or decode everything in that Kirby language. That's pretty cool. When you stop touching the controller, Kirby will do all sorts of little fun idle animations. The best ones happen in mouthful mode. For example, look at this breakdancing cone Kirby. Yeah, that's pretty lit. You can actually enter Kirby's house using the chimney. What am I playing now, Kirby or Super Mario? There's this service called Waddle Deliveries, where you can enter some codes and get bonus presents. Well, there's a bunch of codes hidden in the village, but there's also ones you get from doing specific tasks online, like visiting the Kirby website, or some others just dropped when Kirby games were launched. Most of those codes are expired nowadays, but that was still a pretty cool mechanic. There are 3 major companies that existed in this Forgotten Land: Hotline Corp, a Level Holding Company, and Lightron Works Company. If you grab the first letter from these 3 companies, you'll get HAL, just like HAL Laboratories. Clever. Every time you go back to Waddle Dee Town, you are greeted by this little animation during the loading screen. Well, what if I told you that there's actually multiple loading screens, like this one with the Waddle Dee coming out of the house, or this one with Waddle Dee on the roof. Finally, we have this one with Waddle Dee hiding behind the wall. If you're extra lucky, you might also get one with Kirby opening up the door. Oh, that's pretty cool. By pushing the 4 D-pad buttons, you can interact with the different Waddle Dees in the town. They'll wave back to you, do a little dance, and even more. Charging your hammer power-up to get it to have flames is pretty tempting, but if you hold it for too long, those flames will actually burn the entire hammer down. Oh no! So there's a clock in the mall that is stopped at 4:27, which is actually a reference to April, the 4th month, and 27, the day that is the release date of Kirby's Dream Land in Japan. When you visit Lab Discoveria, you'll hear some noises in the background. Well, these sounds are actually spelling Effilin in Morse code. Effilin is actually Elfilin's name in Japanese. kinda neat. If you've never played this game and you're watching this video and it makes you interested in it, well, you can download the free demo right now on the eShop. So go ahead and do it. This video is sponsored by Ridge Wallet! Ridge is a minimalist pocket wallet, it has RFID blocking, and it has a lifetime guarantee. And take a look at my old wallet, so bulky, so fat, so big! This one, ooh, slim. They also have the key case, which is very thin and very portable and allows you to keep all of your favorite and most useful keys on you at all times. Go to ridge.com/NicoBBQ to get 40% off your purchase until December 22nd. What are you waiting for? Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you learned something new. And if you want me to cover one of your favorite game, well, just tell me in the comment section down below. As for me, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!